Joey's brother Michael is a member of the rival Merlino gang. Merlino soon responds to the conciliatory overture. March 2nd, 1993. The Warfield Cafe just off Schuylkill Expressway in South Philadelphia. Before dawn, it's a desolate spot. The cafe is a mafia front. The owner is Joey Ciancaglini, Stanford's newly appointed underboss. The FBI constantly monitors the restaurant with surveillance cameras pointed at the front door. 5:54 a.m. Joey Chang and a waitress arrive for work. Less than 4 minutes later, a station wagon with mafia rival Joey Merlino and his crew drive past the restaurant.
You can see the car go by the first time, then you can see the car go by and pull in. You see the three figures come out of the car and go into the luncheonette.
Inside, FBI wiretaps pick up the next 5 seconds of audio as gunfire rings out.
You hear the gunfire from the microphone inside, you hear the waitress scream, and you see them leave.
It's the only recorded mob hit in history. Joey Chang takes 5 bullets, but somehow survives. Among the assassins, Joey Chang's brother and Merlino crew member Michael Ciancaglini. Stanford takes the news seriously. This time, he decides on a violent solution and orders a revengeful hit on Merlino and Ciancaglini. Philadelphia is playing center stage to a violent mob war. Godfather John Stanford has ordered the murder of Joey Merlino and Michael Ciancaglini, members of a rival mafia crew. Stanford's chance comes on August 5th, 1993. Catherine and 6th Street, a residential area in South Philadelphia.
Bullets and bloodstains on a South Philadelphia street marked the spot where Michael Ciancaglini was gunned down August 5th. A second mob figure, Joey Merlino, leader of a dissident mob faction, was seriously wounded in the attack.
Merlino takes a bullet in his back, but barely a dent to his ego. A few days later, he's back on his feet attending the funeral of Michael Ciancaglini. Merlino was infuriated with Stanford. It's his turn to move in for the kill. Morning rush hour, August 31st, 1993. Philadelphia's Schuylkill Expressway, an 8-lane highway that brings thousands of commuters into the city every day. Philly mob boss John Stanford and his son Joey are headed downtown on business. Their car is driven by ex-U.S. Marine bodyguard Freddie Aldridge, who's wary from all the recent mob violence.
I'm looking out the front window 50% of the time. I'm looking in the rear mirror 50% of the time, usually for a tail. And I saw this van creeping up on my right quarter. I felt uneasy about it. I said, this doesn't look right.
Suddenly, the van closes in. Automatic gunfire rakes Stanford's car, and all hell breaks loose.
The guns are blazing. I can see that the bullets are ricocheting. They're going in the car. I said, it's a hit. We're being hit.
Aldridge takes drastic action and forces the assailants off the road. The back tire of his vehicle blows out. The bullets miss Stanford, but his son isn't so lucky.
John got up from the position that I pushed him down on and saw that Joey was hit in the face. And he said, stop the car, stop the car. I said, John, there's nobody going to help us here. And he said, okay, Freddie, drive the best you can.
Aldridge heads for Stanford's headquarters, an old warehouse just off the expressway. From there, they swap cars and drive to the hospital. Joey Stanford's been hit in the jaw. It's a terrible wound, but he'll live. News of the Stanford hit spreads. People are astonished to see the mob war now spilling out onto the commuter belt.
gunman recently tried to kill this man by machine gunning his car on a city freeway during the morning rush hour. It's that disregard for innocent bystanders that has Philadelphia so concerned.
That kind of hit was unheard of in Philadelphia. If you look at the way the Merlino faction operated, they were basically saying to John Stanford, you think you're tough? We're tougher.
But in 1994, law enforcement gathers enough evidence to intervene. Philadelphia mob boss John Stanford is arrested on racketeering and narcotics charges. The judge gives him 5 consecutive life sentences. Among the key informers, one of Stanford's own, Ron Previty.
He shouldn't have trusted me because in the old Sicilian rules, an ex-cop can't be a gangster. I think John Stanford was an old-time tough guy. He believed in the mafia. He really believed it. He believed in the old ways, but there is no more old ways. It's so watered down no more that that's history.
In the same year that Stanford is sent to jail, Ralph Natale is released. Natale joins forces with his protege and Stanford rival, Joey Merlino. Natale and Merlino appoint themselves as boss and underboss. This time, the New York families don't get involved. They have enough problems facing an FBI crackdown on their home turf. Natale and Merlino are on their own. Their relationship is growing increasingly strained.
I don't think that Merlino and Natale ever got to the point where they exercised real power, because their organization was so dysfunctional.
But in the public eye, the Philly mob has never been more visible. During the mid-1990s, Merlino actively seeks publicity and promotes himself as a flamboyant godfather.
Well, yeah, he was a GQ gangster. He liked to dress nice. He liked women. He liked flashy cars. He was a flashy guy. He needed a lot of money to live the life he did. He was a funny guy, but Joey was a stone-cold killer also.
They were media darlings. They liked the attention. What's the point of being a gangster if nobody knows who you are? It's the total antithesis of Bruno.
Merlino regularly holds neighborhood charity parties. He courts the journalists who cover the events.
It's Joey Merlino, the celebrity gangster. Joey Merlino with the Christmas parties for the homeless. We helped create this image of Joey as this Robin Hood.
With the media's help, Merlino positions himself as a model citizen, not as a federal criminal.
He'd go to a Catholic school, and the little Catholic school children would come up to him and say, "Mr. Merlino, you are my idol." And I'm a Catholic, and I just found it really offensive to have some little Catholic kid go up and say, "You are my idol." I mean, he shouldn't be anybody's idol.
You want to lock me up for this? It's not a crime, right?
But the FBI has an ace up its sleeve. Use informant Big Ron Previty to put both Merlino and Natale away. But there's a problem. Previty is known to be a friend of rival John Stanford. Previty, with the help of the FBI, tries to ingratiate himself into the rival faction.
We had to position Previty with Natale and Merlino so that they wouldn't kill him, and that he could begin to report to us on them.
Word is out that Previty is the moneymaker in the underworld. Natale arranges to meet him.
Ralph shook my hand, and he said, "I'd like you to be my guy in the South Jersey area." And he was supposed to be a real smart guy, and he probably was, but he was dumb when he called me.
Previty managed to get close to Natale and Merlino, but now the feds want Big Ron to do more than pass on information. They want him to wear a wire to secretly record his mafia associates and their criminal activities. And the FBI is ready to pay even more for the privilege.
The FBI pandered to my weakness, which was money. and they threw a lot of money at me, and I took it. I was making, $9,000 a month plus expenses.
Although Previty cuts one of the best financial deals in the history of the FBI, he places himself in a very dangerous position.
If they discover the wire, what do you do then? I mean, the only thing you can do is kill the guy.
Oftentimes he was in places where we couldn't see him. He was in a building, we didn't know where he was in the building. If they decided to kill him, we would just know who had killed him if we got the tape back.
Previty risks discovery on a daily basis.
I was in a room one time recording some people, and I put my leg up on the table, and the on-off button was hanging out under the pant leg, right? I'm looking around, I said, oh, and these dopes didn't even see it, so I just put my leg down. I said, I gotta go, guys, and I left.
Finally, Previty records a series of incriminating conversations for the FBI. The evidence is so powerful, it could be the final blow to the Philadelphia mob. Philadelphia, 1999. Ralph Natale has spent 5 years at the helm of the Philly mob. After 2 decades of bitter rivalry, he's struggling to keep the trigger-happy factions under control. Natale's underboss, skinny Joey Merlino, appears to be the one in charge.
The relationship was that Ralph was going to be the boss and Joey the underboss, but in reality it never was. Joey was always the boss.
To make matters worse, the FBI surveillance teams follow Natale and Merlino's every move, building a case against them. This is the Fed's most effective surveillance tool. Mafia turncoat Big Ron Previty wears a wire for almost 3 years, recording the activities of the Philadelphia mob.
Ron Previty brought evidence in against 3 separate Cosa Nostra family bosses. John Stanfa, who he was able to get close with, Ralph Natale, who he got very close with, and Joe Merlino.
Previty is the key to bringing Natale and Merlino to justice. He records 400 hours of conversations for the FBI, and many place Natale at the heart of a narcotics ring through Philadelphia and New Jersey. The evidence is overwhelming. The FBI finally makes its move against the beleaguered boss. In 2000, Natale pleads guilty to 8 murders, several attempted murders, extortion, illegal gambling, loan sharking, and drug distribution. In a bid to save his own skin, Natale makes an extraordinary decision: to cooperate with the feds. He is the first sitting boss in American mafia history to squeal on his mob associates.
Natale realizes he's a 2-time convicted drug dealer. This is life if it gets convicted. And Natale decides, that's it. Previty's got me nailed already. I'm going to cooperate.
Natale is living proof that the old mafia code of silence and respect is dead. His testimony finally nails Joey Merlino. In December 2001, Merlino was sentenced to 14 years in prison on charges of racketeering. Between Previty and Natale, their evidence helps convict over 20 ranking members of the Philadelphia Mafia and decimates their organization. On January 21st, 2005, at the age of 69, Natale is finally sentenced to 13 years in prison. After he's released, he'll spend the rest of his life in witness protection. The 2 men who helped the FBI bring down the Philly mob have broken the most sacred and time-honored codes of the Mafia. Such transgression brings with it the risk of imminent death, but so far, they're alive. Nick the Crow Caramandi was one of the first to sing. He now lives in an undisclosed location under an assumed name in the Witness Protection Program.
You know, I'm lucky that I'm still here, let's put it that way. You gotta be safe, safety, that's the word. I'm always looking over my shoulder to watch who I see, you know, try to stay low key.
Big Ron Previty remains in the Atlantic City area, refusing any protection from the federal government.